If you asked my friends, clients, or professional peers to describe me, the one word they would all use is disciplined. Okay, more likely ridiculously, obnoxiously, and obsessively disciplined. And I got to admit it, it's true. They're right. If I want something, I have no problem committing to do what it takes to make it happen. I have solid routines around things like making time to exercise, drinking enough water, making sales calls, following up on clients, and even eating right. Now, I may be extreme, and I admit it, I am. But for most of us, we would have to admit that if there was one thing we wish we were a little more of, it's probably disciplined. So for those of you who would like to be more disciplined, but just cannot seem to get there, here's the good news. Discipline is a skill that can be learned, easily learned, and effectively implemented. And I am living proof. You see, I was not always like this. In fact, I was quite the opposite. I was that employee who could not get out of bed on time. I was always late to work. I was the girl who joined gyms but never went. I was that person, yes, that person, who had no self-control when French fries, ice cream, or anything chocolate hit the table. When I tell people that now, they just cannot believe that it's true. See, I could easily sleep until 11 a.m. or noon, eat a whole pizza completely by myself, and spend a full day in bed watching movies. That seems so foreign to me now, but I was the very definition of undisciplined, the poster child, in fact. So what changed? Well, I did, of course, and here are the strategies that I used to master the art of discipline. Number one, mindset. First and foremost, you have to get your head right. You actually have to want to be disciplined, and you have to believe you can be. I'm not sure I ever would have gotten here if I had not been forced to decide to change. Having the pressure of working day in and day out alongside our executive team, just the fear of being late had me jumping out of bed every single day. So getting your head right and believing you can be disciplined, it all starts there. Number two, baby steps. Take this one step at a time. Don't try to go from never going to the gym to going 7 days a week. Take your time. When my boss and his boss decided to become vegans, it influenced me to clean up my diet. However, even as they swore off meat, fish, and dairy, I still indulged in a little chocolate now and then. But slowly, the French fries didn't look so tempting, and not eating ice cream every day started to actually feel good. 3, change the view. If you want to be disciplined, you need to spend more time around people who are and less time around people who are not. I was lucky. Starting a new job in a new city with a new apartment ensured everything about my life was changing. Suddenly, I found myself around people who went to the office by 7, spent their lunch hours doing yoga, and thought a healthy diet was the perfect way to live. So their norm became my norm. And number 4, take a breath. Before you hit the snooze button, eat that donut, or skip the gym. Simply take a breath. Take a moment and think, what are the consequences of either doing something or not taking action? This probably helped me more than anything else did. Before I turned on the television and skipped the gym, I would take a moment and think about what I was doing. Sometimes I did not do the discipline thing, but slowly and more often I started to. Taking the time to think about what you're doing, just a moment, so often ensures you make decisions that are positive and decisions that are a little more disciplined. And number 5, reward. So important to take the time to reward yourself for the changes you have made and what you have achieved. For me, that reward was, of course, a trip to Europe. A trip where I got up early every day, hiked like a superstar, and still ate gelato, just in much smaller portions. So I'd love to hear your ideas about how to master the art of discipline. Join me, visit me at valuespeaker.com.